My body has been possessed by someone. Chapter 3. She made my life miserable. What? A cold sensation spilled over Kana's face as she opened her eyes. Lady, did you sleep late again? It was nightmare after nightmare. Kana woke up from her dream completely startled. The first thing she saw was a high and splendid ceiling, with silk drapery hanging in pure white. I really came back. This isn't Korea. It was the bedroom of the Valentino Duke's family. Damn. By the way, what is being poured on my face now? Lady, please wake up. Can't you hear me? It was Mary. Kana knew what was happening when she saw the maid next to the bed holding a vase. Mary had been waking Kana, or more precisely, Jua, by spraying her with water from a vase, pulling the blanket, and even shouting, as she was doing now. So far, Jua hadn't resisted anything and endured everything to please the Duke. Mary had worked for the Valentino family for a long time and thought that if Kana looked bad, it could bring bad news. So, Jua had been patient, very patient. Lee Jua, you are really stupid. Kana wiped her wet face with her hands. You. What's your name? Was this an unexpected reaction? The maid was startled. Of course, Kana knew her name. According to the memories of the clone who occupied this body, the maid's name is Mary. In her 40s, Mary had worked for the Valentino family for a long time and was a trusted woman. My name is Mary Goldian, my lady. Did you suddenly forget? What's wrong with your hair? Mary hurriedly responded with a rushed answer. Stop the nonsense and wake up. It's time to greet the lady. Greetings. Suddenly, a violent headache pierced through her head. Greetings. Well, now that I think about it, the Duke of Valentino's stepmother lived with me in this mansion. Josephine, the current Duchess, Sylvian's stepmother, asked her daughter-in-law, Kana, to greet her 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is crazy. This isn't just done in Korea, but also in this world. But, of course, the clone had faithfully followed it until now, hoping to catch Sylvian's attention someday. But now, I have no intention of doing that. I won't go. Yes, I won't go. To give that damn greeting. Lady, what's this? Who is the lady? I am the Duchess of Valentino and the hostess of this mansion. So, call me madam. Mary's face froze. She seemed to doubt her own ears. It was different from Kana, who was always smiling and trying to win the love of others. What? Did you eat something strange? But soon, Mary's lips lifted. You look like a noble and want to pretend to be a noble again. But no one treats Kana like a noble. Who is Kana? The Duchess of Valentino, a vain duchess who is treated as non-existent by her husband. It's not just that. Kana had dark eyes and black hair, the symbol of the black mist. A long time ago, one day, the black mist suddenly appeared and devoured the entire southern continent, destroying it. Because of its sinister color, Kana had been pointed at by people since childhood. She had been rejected even by her parents and given the shameful title of filth. So, who would stand up for someone like her? The hostess of this mansion is Josephine. The only lady I have is Josephine. Even if you insult me so openly, I'll laugh and scratch my head. As it has been for the past few years. As expected, Kana said nothing. She just stared at her and reached out her hand. Give it to me. Yes. That vase. Is there still water left? After taking the vase from Mary as if snatching it from her, Kana checked how much water was left inside. and she poured it on her. Drops of water fell on Mary's face. Although her face was wet, Mary didn't realize what had happened. No. She couldn't believe it. You'll come to your senses when you see me properly. Now you, go and fetch me a stick. Kana told the servant who was looking outside the door. The surprised servant didn't know what to do and stood paralyzed until Kana raised her voice again. Why don't you bring it? Do you also want to be beaten? If you don't bring it right now, the same fate awaits you too. I'm coming, wait a minute. After a while, Kana took the stick brought by the servant and spoke to Mary, who was still bewildered. Mary Goldian, pull up your dress to your calves. Mary's face turned pale. How dare Kana do this to her, who had worked for Valentino for a long time? What is this, lady? Have you forgotten who I am? I am under the trust of Lady Josephine and have worked in this mansion for a long time. A maid. Kana cut her words coldly. A crazy maid who dared to spray water on her master. That's you, Mary. What? And I am the Duchess of Valentino, the mistress of the house who deserves to discipline such a maid. I will use this authority to order you to lift your dress to your calves. Oh. But, if you don't start, I will even beat the other maids. Also, the butler who did not properly educate the maid must be held accountable. Choose. Do you want to be corrected alone? Or with all the mansion employees? Mary's lips started to pale. Even the other servant who had brought Kana the stick looked terrified. Moments later, Mary pulled up her skirt with trembling hands. I was very scared. I wonder if she has discovered this change by now. It must be frightening to suddenly see a person change and become completely different. Kana tilted her head sideways and looked at Mary. Kana began to remember something from the past. Daughter, when you punish someone, make sure to discipline them. Jua, now Kana, I have never lost anything by listening to my mom, so let's do it that way. Kana raised the stick and struck it upwards on her back. It was one. But it was a very strong blow. Then another in the same place. And finally, under the dress. In an instant, a red line was drawn on her calf, and Mary's body swayed and fell to the floor. Ah! It hurts. Pain in the second generation. And in the third. I'm sorry. She began to beg for her mistake. While Mary rubbed her hands and prayed, Kana let go of the stick. What are you wrong about? I dared to spray water on you. Kana smiled gently. That's not all. Have you ever woken me up by hitting my face? Li Jua, that idiot just stood there, and people saw her as something funny. No matter how much intimidation she received, she just laughed. Even earthworms tend to squirm when you step on them, but she just got hit without showing any resistance. Like my old self. Like me before possessing her body and becoming her clone. I'm sorry, lady. Lady. When Kana tilted her head, Mary shrugged. Oh number. Madam. My mistake, ma'am. I will never do it again. That's how it should be, because the next time you act so arrogantly, it won't end with just 3 strokes, out. Kana pointed to the door after throwing away the stick. Mary sighed and got up. Her shoulders slumped down, pretending to be dejected, but a fierce hostility could be felt. As expected, there's no way she can change with just a beating. After they all left, Kana sighed and sat on the sofa. Jua. Li Jua. I made your life quite interesting with a promising future. I went to a prestigious university, became a medical doctor, and found the perfect boyfriend. In contrast, you made my life worse. You twisted my life completely. Although I am noble, no one values me and doesn't hesitate to say nasty things about me. Everyone looks at me with disdain. Hi. Want more? AudiNovel. Subscribe.